The story of Polybius first surfaced online sometime in the early 2000s on a coin-op enthusiast forum. The poster claimed that in 1981, in Portland, Oregon, a mysterious arcade game cabinet called Polybius randomly appeared in a handful of arcades, and anyone who played the game experienced horrifying nightmares, memory loss, seizures, hallucinations, and an obsessive compulsion to keep playing it. About a month later, all known traces of the game were gone. It was never seen in another arcade, and never played again. In this episode of Small Talk, we'll go over the details of this urban legend and give our thoughts behind the validity of its claims, which are indeed insane. I'm Ben.
I'm Logan.
And welcome back to Small Talk.
Hell yeah.
We're back in the saddle, dude.
Yeah, we are. Just knocked out Operation Northwoods.
We did. You'll be hearing that
Tuesday.
Tuesday
Morning, 6 a.m. sharp.
Yes, sir. Today is Thursday the 18th.
Yep.
You'll hear it Tuesday. This one you'll hear next Friday, I would imagine. So about a week from tomorrow.
Back at it, baby.
Back at it. I've missed it.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get to do a little bit more of a relaxed banter in the last one. Because it was, main episode, a little more serious.
Yeah.
But now we get to talk about people playing arcade games and then having episodes. So
I'm all for it.
You ever heard of it?
We talked a little bit before we hit record. Never heard of it. I've heard of a creepypasta that I think is gonna spawn from this story.
Yep, you were telling me. I think it's pretty similar, and I don't know which of those came first.
Well, if this is saying it happened in the 80s, the creepypasta would have came out 2010s.
Yeah. Well, this story, and I think I'll get into it, didn't come out till I think 01, maybe 02, on a forum, but it claimed to have happened back in the 80s. Okay. So, yeah.
Okay.
Indeed, Polybius. So we'll dive into that if you want.
Let's get after it, baby.
Okay. Polybius is described, and this is according to people who claim to have played the game, as a vector-style arcade game. So think like Tempest or Asteroids, but it also had very bizarre graphics and flashing lights, like throughout it as you would play. The gameplay itself was described as fast-paced, shooting with puzzle-like elements which made the game hypnotic and disorienting while playing it. The forum posters also claim that the game contained subliminal messaging that would be picked up while they played it, with words like, quote, obey and conform popping onto the screen, or played through audio that was just barely loud enough to hear. They also said that the bright lights and weird sounds induced an altered state of mind, almost like being in a trance. One poster even claimed it resembled a psychedelic drug trip and compared it to his own experience on LSD. I'll save my thoughts for the end. I think this is really interesting because you think of MK Ultra, and we'll talk about how this may or may not tie into MK Ultra at the end of this, possibly. And that, just theoretically.
That's where my mind was going.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about the story, but...
And I didn't either. And maybe this is just some, super early way. They're, MK Ultra happened back in the,
50s? Late 50s?
Yeah, so that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
But still, this is 40 plus years ago, almost 50 years ago. They didn't know much about the effect of, I guess, electronics or flashing lights or repetitive audio.
Before we go any further, if it's gonna spoil the story, don't tell me, but is this a fact? Do these arcade cabinets exist? Or is it just a story?
We'll get there.
Okay. All right.
So one of the craziest parts of this story involves what we know as the Men in Black.
So this didn't happen. Understood. Okay.
You shot that down in one sentence.
Men in Black, we're going to save that.
Okay.
Because I really want to get into Men in Black.
Yeah, I think they were real.
You think they were real?
Well, I think there was men in suits. When you say Men in Black,
mm-hmm.
I don't think of the traditional bald-faced, no expression, translucent skin in a suit. I think it was just maybe CIA or FBI.
You
agents.
should read the Mothman Prophecies. Or listen to the audiobook.
The Mothman prophecies? Does that tie into Men in Black somehow?
Absolutely. I would say it's more Men in Black than Mothman. But
Okay.
definitely read it, get the audiobook, whatever. You should listen to that or read that.
Okay. I will give that a
If you believe in the Men in Black, you should definitely read that book.
Okay. And I don't, like I said, I don't believe in the traditional definition of Men in
Sure.
Black.
No, I get it.
But I do think there was a secret organization of guys in suits that just did weird shit.
Like the CIA.
Yeah.
Or the FBI.
Yeah. Like a super top secret organization that was in charge of just random projects.
Some other 3-letter acronym that we don't know about.
Yeah. NSA, like you name it.
Yeah. TSA.
Yeah.
TSA agents out there investigating UFOs.
It's people that like work at the airport.
Put your shoes in the basket.
Are you an alien, sir? Bend over, please. Anyway. Multiple retellings of the Polybius legend report that mysterious men in black suits would visit the arcades where the game was installed. Typically, owners of the games would come by to collect their coins or tokens. However, these men would come by, download gameplay data from the machines. It's also reported that they would monitor what kids were playing the games, how long they would play them, and their reactions to these games.
You mean like specific kids?
And this is, well, they would pay attention to, like, if there's a kid playing Polybius, like, how long does he play it? What's his reaction to it? And then they would monitor this kid. Does he come back to it and play it?
Okay.
Or is it just like he plays it, maybe he liked it, maybe he didn't, doesn't play it again?
It's kind of like if you notice this kid playing the game, monitor that kid, see if they come back.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. They would then ask the arcade owners really odd questions about conversations and behaviors after, like, certain kids' games. And it wasn't just like kids playing the games. I mean, it was adults too. But
Yeah.
just, I guess, the way that, like, the research I found was mostly they were like doing it on, like, young minds of kids, like children.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I can really see where the mind would go to MK Ultra.
Yeah. And all we have from this was, like, because I found the forum that it was on, and all it was just like it was probably like 7 or 8 different guys that were just kind of chatting about it. Like, yeah, I was an arcade owner back in, like, Oregon or Washington, whatever, back in the 80s, and, like, I can confirm this happened at my shop. But I mean, we can't confirm that that person is actually who they say they are. They could just be attributing to the...
I saw 3 Bigfoot on my way over here.
Did you?
Yep.
Did you get a picture?
I don't have to prove that to you. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, you don't have to, but, like...
Did you see what I'm saying? Like, anybody can say anything at any
you
point.
are absolutely right. But, I mean, that's... You have to take some people's word for something. I'm not saying take this person's word.
You don't have to.
No. I'm not saying you have to take this person's word. But if you never believe anything you read ever, then you would never believe anything ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could turn the news on, you could watch every single news article and be like, nope, I don't believe any of that.
I mean, I don't think that's a terrible way to be. Like, especially these, like, there are plenty of... I don't know. I think if you want to believe something, you should prove it to yourself. You shouldn't take someone else's word for it.
But something like this, you can't prove. Like, I can't go back to 1981 and prove this. Like, I have to either, A...
You have to take it at face value.
I have to take it for what these people are saying, or B, don't believe it at all. And I'm not saying, like I said, I'll hold my thoughts to the end, whether or not I believe this story's true. But the only evidence we have is what's been presented to us.
I've made it clear with my viewpoint on most of these small talk topics.
Yeah.
If it's not going to hurt you to believe something, then believe it. But, like, stuff with sustenance, stuff that matters.
Yeah.
Prove
For sure.
Prove it to yourself.
For sure. I
Prove it
100%
to yourself.
agree. 100% agree. Yeah.
It's off topic, but anyways.
It's okay. It's okay.
Tad bit of wisdom from Logan. That could be a segment.
Could it be?
Yeah.
Would those 3 Bigfoot you saw on the way here be included in that?
I hate to break it to you, that wasn't real. I was lying.
So it took me every bit of 45 seconds to get that out of you. Okay. So, this is going to kind of dip back into what we just covered with Operation Northwoods.
Back in the Cold War,
Yeah,
huh?
we're back in the Cold War.
Okay.
So, this was right around the time of the Cold War, which was obviously rich with surveillance and intelligence operations being conducted both on and off U.S. soil.
Interesting time in this country.
Indeed. It's also a time where the CIA was running black book missions like Project MK Ultra, which used subliminal messaging and psychological warfare to try and control or modify people's behaviors. Additionally, in the late 70s and early 80s, both the CIA and FBI were monitoring arcades because they were hotspots for illegal gambling rings and drug dealers. So in theory, it makes sense for men in suits to be around the arcades. I put that in kind of as like a devil's advocate type thing, because when doing my research, there was a lot of speculation as to like, okay, why in the world would there be men in suits around arcades in the 70s and 80s? And then I found out that just so happened in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, arcades were a big hotspot for illegal gambling, drug use, like drug dealing, anything you can think of. Because, like, honestly, like, who's going to be thinking of an arcade?
Here's my counterpoint, though. If that's the case, I feel like it would more be the FBI than the CIA investigating gambling and drug dealers.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, if you are watching these arcades for that specific reason, as an FBI agent, why are you wearing a suit?
You're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you would try to blend in.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, but this is before the. I think back then, like, if you were an FBI agent, you wore a suit. I don't think it mattered what you were doing, unless you were on a like weapons hot mission. I think you were in a suit. If you're just because people wore suits back. I mean, people wore suits back then.
Yeah,
like
you're
that.
right. You're right. But
it wasn't weird. Like if we walked outside now and we saw somebody in a suit, I'd be like, that person has an like important thing they're heading to.
yeah.
Like they're doing something that requires a suit. But back
Right.
then, like
Or they're
suits
going to
were.
apply to sell some CPAP somewhere.
Wow, the old self burn, huh?
But no, I read John Douglas's book, that Mindhunter that the show is about. The guy's name is John Douglas. He mentions in his book there were times where he wasn't wearing a suit, like he was trying to blend in. So
sure.
I feel like in this specific case, this is neither here nor there because we don't even know if this actually happened.
Right.
But I think if the FBI was monitoring arcades for that reason, for crime,
They would blend in.
they would try to blend in. I don't think that speaks to why there are men walking around in suits in an arcade.
So then, why are there men in suits in the
That's a
arcade?
good question. I'm trying to give that more strength.
Yeah, and I guess like that was where my head went, and then for like the fourth time, I'm trying not to give away what I think
Okay.
until it's too late. It's really hard to
Yeah.
navigate around it.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a reason, and again, we're taking this all at face value. So these people are saying what they saw, what they remember, what they hear. We have to just believe that they're telling the truth.
Yeah.
And if enough people are saying, well, we saw a bunch of men in suits, arcade owners are saying, yeah, they were asking about game data, they were asking about what kids play on what machines. That's odd.
Makes for a spooky story at the very least.
At 100%. That's why we're doing it.
Oh yeah, like those.
Yeah. So the legend behind this theory became a lot more popular in 2001 when an arcade cataloging site called coinop.org received a listing titled Polybius with a picture of an arcade machine. It's worth mentioning that this exact machine is technically considered to be a hoax. However, I could not find verifiable evidence in either direction. It's one of those things where it's like I can't find proof it exists, but there's so many people saying it does exist. It's like Bigfoot. Like
Okay.
you can't prove Bigfoot doesn't exist, but there's also there are millions of people who believe in it, thousands that claim they've seen it. There's quote unquote pictures of Bigfoot. It's one of those things where it's just so up in the air you don't know. Obviously this is not as big of a thing as Bigfoot, but
Yeah, it's same premise. I get where you're going.
in this post it claimed the manufacturer was some German word, Sinneschlossen, which loosely translates from German to mean sensory deletion.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that the game only briefly appeared in 1981 but then vanished. The post was removed pretty soon after, and no one ever stepped forward to claim it or validate it or purchase it or anything like that. So one question that I had to myself was why Portland, Oregon? Like that seems like a pretty random spot for this to go down. Turns out, Portland was apparently a very large testing ground for things in the 70s and 80s because it was just small enough to go under the radar, but also large enough to get very diverse data. It also had one of the largest arcade scenes in America at the time. Portland was noted to be a hot zone for government testing, with things like fluoride levels, marketing experiments, and again, Project MK Ultra.
Oh, is that a fact? MK Ultra happened, or I guess.
Well, no, it's not a fact. But,
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
it is a very well known hypothetical that, I mean, because Project MK Ultra, was it ever officially like announced by the government?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, well then yeah, it was.
That's on the National Archive.
Okay, then
too.
yes, Portland, Oregon was one of the key spots for. I would guess.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, before you said that last part, that's where my mind was going. Why Portland, Oregon?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of makes sense. It's not an East Coast city. It's not in It's not like a Southern California city. It's kind of up out of the way, but it's still a very large.
It's a
city.
very large city,
Yeah.
and even back then, it's one of those cities that it's beautiful, it's very diverse, has a huge population, but you just don't think about it.
Yeah.
And there's thousands of cities like that across the U.S.
Yeah.
But
it's interesting. I mean, but if me and you took the time, we could fabricate a story like this.
100%, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't take much time, but because I mean, you go back to this coinop.org and you go back to that posting from 2001, it's there. Like, that means somebody in 2001 thought to themselves, I'm going to make this fake arcade game, and I'm going to have a whole bunch of people join in with me and make. And this is a big thing. Like, if you look up Polybius online, there's subreddits for it. Like, there's websites for it. It's huge. Like, you wouldn't ever think about it or know about it unless you looked it up. But it's a big topic.
Yeah.
It's I said this is the end, so I said I'd save it to the end. I don't buy it one bit.
I don't either. As I just said, if you take the time, you could fabricate a story like this. And we're living proof. Like, we do a podcast about this kind of shit.
Yeah.
If you like it that much, you can put something out there to at least entertain people.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, somebody's going to listen to this and be like, probably go to their best friend and be like, yo, dude, I heard this podcast so that there's this crazy arcade game back in the 80s that was, like, doing mind control.
it's exciting because you don't know. It's the unknown. The unknown is very exciting.
I mean, yeah, that's part of the human condition.
Yeah.
Like, we are infatuated by the unknown.
I'd be interested to take a deep dive into those declassified MK Ultra files just to see if there's any mention of something like this in there.
That would be insane. If there was any mention of, and probably, I doubt it would mention Polybius by name, but
No,
I mean, even
the
just
premise at least.
yeah, like arcade data, video game data, like anything, even somewhat mentioning that would possibly change my viewpoint on this. But yeah, that's like I got a couple of questions. Like, we kind of touched on all three of them actually, but like, why would the government do this? Would be the only one I don't think we answered. Like, why would they do that?
Why would the government get a bunch of soldiers high on LSD and lock them in a dark room?
Yeah, it just purely experimental, I guess.
Just to see.
Yeah, what happens. I mean, and you think about like modern medicine, like most of what we know is off of experiments.
Yeah.
Like, legal or not, they found that information based off of like just doing experiments on it. So I think that's kind of what their goal was. Let's do an experiment on if we tell a young kid who's playing an arcade game to obey, or we strobe lights or loud sounds or whatever, what's their reaction going to be? And I mean, it doesn't, like, it ties into MK Ultra. Like,
I mean, the one guy specifically said it had LSD-like effects, which he can attest to because he's done LSD.
Yep.
That lends itself to the belief that it ties into MK Ultra. However, at that point, MK Ultra had already been declassified.
Yeah.
So anybody could, again, fabricate the link.
You're right.
I don't know. It's interesting. I don't necessarily think it's true. I think it's a fun story, and I mean, at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I don't think the Polybius story itself is true. I think a version of Polybius is true. Like,
Yeah.
I think the government at some point.
If you're asking me if I think the government is capable, yes, they would definitely do something like this.
100%.
Yeah. But did this specific instance happen? I don't think so.
Yeah, like, did a German company make this game, and now there's just no record of it at all?
And why does Polybius translate directly? Like, why is it so on the nose?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's a good point. You wouldn't name it that. You wouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not Polybius. It was the name of the manufacturing company.
Solution?
Yeah, Solution. That was the manufacturing company, apparently.
Mm.
Anyway, that's my thoughts. I feel like we're in the same boat here. I'm not buying it too much. I think the concept of mind control and tapping into people's minds by the government might be on par with something that's happened, but this specific story I don't think is true.
Yeah. Either. Fun story.
Yeah, super fun.
If that's all it contributes to the modern world today, did its job.
Yeah.
We're talking about it.
Yeah, super fun. But anyway, that is going to wrap it up for this one. If you enjoy what you heard, please make sure to follow us on Spotify.
Okay.
Please make sure to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. Do not forget to leave us a review. It really helps us out. You can keep up with us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We post clips, teasers, and then just sometimes weird extras that don't make the episode. Till next time, grab a beer, put on your tinfoil. This has been Tinfoil Talk. Just kidding. This has been Small Talk.
Goodbye.
Love you. Bye.